Hey everybody, Edo here, and I'm here with Dustin Faust and Keith Mateka.
Hey.
We just wrapped day one of PAX South, but in particular PAX Indie Showcase for Skulk Hollow.
Right.
And I thought it would be cool just to talk a little bit about the event for those who are interested in perhaps trying to get into the Indie Showcase and just to get a feel for what it's like. It's not really a walk around, it's just us talking for a second here.
Right.
We played a lot of games, right?
Right, we played a lot of games at Skulk Hollow, for sure.
Yeah, so it's not really in frame, but we had 3 maps set up on this table. Every team got a table about this size, I think identical to this size. And other than like the first 7 minutes when people were running to like get freebies at whatever booth they were going to, it was full every seat the entire 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yep.
Right? I mean...
Yeah, so we had 3 demos going all at the same time, and then kind of a lot of people walking by, checking it out. And we would be teaching and then kind of hanging out, being willing to answer people's questions or kind of give them the lowdown as to what the game is and kind of what the Kickstarter plan is for it. So, yeah, it's definitely... busy the whole day and can be pretty exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, for this volume, 3 people was the minimum.
Right.
Right, like because teaching, playing, somebody needs to take a break. It was a lot, and you know, so we got at least 30 games in, 40 games in. And, I mean, it was a ton of games.
Right.
We did it really simple. We just had sign up. We wanted to do it on an iPad, or a Chromebook, but there was no internet. But actually, in practice, I think this was the best because there are people all around. We're handing it across. I think if it was like logging in and doing a digital sign up for the amount of people, and so page after page, I think this is over 60, 70 emails on day one.
Right.
From when we did the Siblings Trouble, I got probably 75% conversion on the names at that point, so that's pretty solid. One of the coolest things, tried to get film, really noisy, glare, the lighting's pretty bad for board games. Did our best. One of the good decisions, I think, is we were doing filming on the table, but then we started doing reactions afterwards,
Right.
which I think was a good use of like trying to get it to work. I'm going to see all the film tonight, so maybe it sucked. But also, in terms of value, there's getting the footage, the feedback, and just watching that many games, right? Like,
right.
So I mean, Keith, from your perspective as a designer, seeing everyone play the game, I mean,
you know, it's like when you get playtests of games, a lot of times you get 1 play, you get 2 plays. Here you can sit down and see 3 people playing at the same time, and like the potential problems or there's patterns that emerge and that you may not see when you're doing playtests kind of stretched out over time. Whereas you sit down and watch, 30 people play all in a row, you're going to kind of see those little small things like, oh, I could tweak that, and maybe that wouldn't have been as apparent in a different kind of setting.
The sheer volume's incredible. Of totally fresh players, new players, players who've never heard of it before, generally speaking for PAX, I'd say they're more early players. I mean, they're not, very few were like people who seemed like core gamers.
Right. I wouldn't say there was a lot of veteran board gamers that were demoing, which was cool. I mean, you see a variety of different players, and a lot of the people that I play with are veteran gamers, and they're the ones that they'll get it right away. Here you're kind of teaching people who haven't played that often, and things that might seem obvious to someone who plays a lot of games aren't necessarily obvious. So you kind of change the way you teach, which then influences the kind of the changes that you might make in the rule book, so that it's easy to comprehend from beginning gamers and kind of more veteran gamers.
Yeah, definitely get into a flow of how you explain things. And for this game, the amount of plays. So in Skulk Hollow, we have all these different giant guardians that you can be, and being able to see different teams playing with the different guardians, different kings used on the fox inside. Certainly for this crowd, that hook of this is a tactical Shadow of Colossus games where you're starting on a boat and then jumping on the giant and taking out the different body parts, and you have to deal with it. I mean, that grabbed people pretty easily. Yeah. On the art side, I mean, and also Dustin, you haven't actually been at as many conventions as us. I don't think you've ever seen this much of your art being played at once.
No.
What was it like for you to see sort of the experience of the gaming and the stage of it?
I thought it was amazing. Again, I've never done this before. This is my first experience doing this. I'm exhausted, but seeing the people's responses to moves and like them getting excited or trash talking, I thought was the best part about it.
A couple almost fights.
Yeah, I mean,
almost fights.
It got pretty brutal sometimes.
Yeah,
so
no.
seeing that kind of inspired me to want to push the art even more, to like really get it done and really polish it.
He's like, I want to redo all of it. But one of the things as far as prepping, now there were some other booths where like, you know, Sagrada was selling product and some other things going on, but for us, it was like a banner, a notepad, and the games, which is very different than a typical convention. You have how you're going to spend the money, how you're going to track money and payments and all that stuff. For us, it was really like, hey, let's just get the games in front of people and get them playing. We could have, for the volume of people we just had to walk away and were waiting, we could have easily, and not that we were allowed to, but had we had double the space and 6 games going on at once, it would have been fine the entire game.
Yeah, we would have been able to fill up those tables for sure.
And people loved it. That's, I mean, the great part from a publisher perspective is that the game's a hit, and that's awesome. So we just need to keep working on it, getting it done, refining it, finishing the art, and finishing. But I don't know. I think this sort of covers it. If we learn anything else by the end, maybe we'll do another recap. And I'll try to do a PAX floor during the event. This is after, so people can get an idea of what it looks like. But way more tabletop. I was here 3 years ago. 40-50% is tabletop now. That's crazy. Taking over, folks.
Right, there's a surprising amount of like tabletop related stuff at PAX South. I thought it was going to be primarily video games, but it's really split 50-50. So it's exciting to kind of be in the board game space and seeing, you know, the popularity of it, even at a convention that isn't specifically for tabletop stuff. So, that's
anyway, later, folks. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.